Charles O'Reilly was one of my professors at Berkeley, so one interpretation of that is this is a quite ancient perspective. But I hope you can appreciate this is a very classic article because the clarity with which he connects the management of culture with the strategy of the firm and and the net impact on performance. I think another thing that's really strong about this reading, why it's worth our attention, is because he also points out and discusses that culture is a mixed bag. So very much like when we talked about in the case of commitment at the individual level, organizations can have cultures that are resistant to change, make it very difficult for them to succeed in the future. And one of the big challenges of managing culture, as we've mentioned in the lecture and some of the other materials you've seen, is actually cultural change. How do we get a culture to get moving? And all organizations have some level of culture, which is another important point that O'Reilly makes, is that culture is there, whether you're in control of it or not, is a very different question. I think that one of the strengths of this article, and I hope you'll be able to pick up from it, is the explicit connection between commitment and culture. It helps us, again, get some insights into the underlying sets of issues we're dealing with, especially if we want to take on the problems of cultural change. And then, again, the specific discussion of the performance value of culture is very important to us. Things to watch for in the article is this kind of notion of culture as the value proposition for the firm. What does it add to our strategic effectiveness is very much why this topic is so important. You'll want to understand the social information processing connection to commitment. And again, as we've talked about in the case of other readings, in our discussion in class, that what we're seeing when we have a high socialization, high culture organization is this homogenization and maybe even uniformity of belief structure across all organizational participants. It's both the strength of culture and it's also this weakness if we want to make a change. And then O'Reilly has some very specific discussion about how we go about shaping culture as a strategy for improving organizational performance. Another important takeaway from this article.